regularly. It takes years for them to put out an album. But it's like, why? Because with this, the digital audio workstations or DAWs that we use now, like Pro Tools and Ableton and these systems make it really easy to record, man. You're not splicing tape together anymore. You're not bouncing tracks anymore. You're not, you want to re-record something. It's as simple as hitting the record button and doing it over. I mean, I get it. I just don't understand why it takes so long for these guys to put out albums. I just wish that they can come out with albums more frequently. And it doesn't mean like I want them to have less tracks on them or crappier tracks on them or not as high quality tracks. But I just want more albums. So I was thinking about that just the other day. How the Beatles, on average, they dropped 2.2 albums per year, in a 4-year span. And I'm just amazed that they were able to do that. And, we're talking, tape, real tape. Just the Beatles still amaze me to this day. I mean, 3-part harmonies, live on stage, no feedback monitors, no in-ear monitors. I mean, just amazing stuff. And for those musicians that play on stage, how tough it is to hear from time to time. And if you imagine not having monitors, that'd be pretty crazy to play in front of packed houses and arenas and all that stuff without actually being able to hear what's coming out of your mouth when you sing. Or even, playing guitars. I mean, those little amps that they had back then were, 50 watts max, and they were filling up these big auditoriums. I mean, they weren't playing arenas per se, but I mean, still, even a high school auditorium, a little 50-watt amp isn't gonna fill that, and you're not gonna be able to hear anything very well. So I thought the Beatles still amaze me. Speaking of in-ear monitors, if anybody has never used it and they're kind of on the fence or whatever, man, I'm gonna recommend it 1,000%. I've played in a lot of hard rock bands over the years, and maybe my hearing isn't as good as it used to be because of that. But having an isolated in-ear monitor is just amazing. It's performance changing, it's mind changing, it's hearing changing. Everything's pristine. I can hear everything that's going on around me by the twist of a knob. If I want to hear more bass, I turn up the bass, and if I want to hear more drum, turn up the drum. If I want to hear more me, I turn up more me. I mean, everybody wants to hear themselves, and that becomes a problem in small clubs or even medium-sized clubs, especially if you have a guitar player that likes to turn up his amp every damn seconds, all you hear is him, or you go deaf, or when it feeds back, you pretty much lose your hearing. I mean, it's rough, and then your audience gets pissed and they walk out. I'm not even going to bring up the plus. Actually, I am going to bring it up. The plus side, you don't have to carry around monitors anymore, man. Those things are annoying. It's like 4 extra cords everywhere you go. You need, more. I need more monitor. It's what your singer always says, And with an in-ear system, man, you don't have to worry about any of that. Just go, plug it in, turn the volume up, and then adjust. You even adjust on the fly. Like, I have a body pack sits on my belt, and just turn it up. And good in-ear monitors also have bleed through, which is cool because if you're on full isolated in-ear monitors, you can't hear the audience, you can't hear other people in your band. So if somebody says, the next song, you're playing the end, you got that rock star ending, dun, 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 dun. They tell you the next song, you got to kind of read lips. And it is really good to hear the crowd after a song. so that you can kind of judge if you want to do that song again next week or 2 weeks from now or whatever your next gig, or if you want to kick it completely because nobody's into it. Having that feedback from the audience really helps. So rather than set up a whole nother microphone just to capture audience sounds, the new in-ear monitors have a bleed-through valve, in an ear. So it's kind of like a hole right in the middle of the speaker that it's adjustable. I mean, you can turn it up or down depending on how much you want to hear from the outside, which is really cool, I mean, I've played in a lot of little small rooms too to jam out with bands or whatever, and man, that snare drum just kills me, or a big 16-inch crash cymbal just makes me deaf and kills my ears. And if you're ever on the fence, man, even if you're just not in a band and you just love music, pick up a pair of in-ear monitors. You go to the ear doctor and you get a mold made of your ear. It's $20. And then you mold the monitor right to it. It's very easy. I couldn't recommend it more. It's possibly saved my hearing for good. And if you buy a premium set of headphones, you're gonna have a better experience. I know there are in-ear monitors out there for $200-300, but they aren't gonna give you what you want. They're more like wearing a pair of headphones, and you're not going to get sub bass. You're not going to get any quality sound. It might even only have one driver in it, and you're not going to be able to get that bass guitar or the bass drum sound coming through. So in my in-ear monitor, I have three drivers, which is really cool because I get to hear everything so crisply and cleanly, because you have three different speakers delivering the sound into your ear, and the volume that's coming out of an in-ear is very low, all right, because it's all the way in your ear. If I actually pull the in-ear monitor out and hold it 2 to 3 inches away from my head, I can't even hear it. Rather than if I put it back in, I hear everything at a manageable decibel level. And so it protects your hearing. It's great. It prevents the feedback from happening. And man, just go out and buy one. Put it on a credit card. Whatever. Put it on a 24-month payment plan. Whatever you can do. Borrow the money. It doesn't matter. Put away X amount of dollars a month or a gig, especially if you're in a band. And you're making that $100 a gig. About 8 or 9, 10 gigs, and go out and get yourself a nice in-ear monitor system. Anyway, that's going to do it all. That's going to do it for today's podcast. And I'm sorry I kind of went on a rant and rave there, but hey, I wanted to thank you for coming along and listening to me today. And I hope you enjoy these podcasts. If you do, go ahead, send me an email. It's nicholas.dilorenzo22@gmail.com. Or you could leave a review there in the iTunes podcast app, or on Spreaker.com. You just search Nicholas DiLorenzo. Remember to subscribe so you can get all the new ones as they come out. And hey, stay cool till next time, all right? Later. This has been another unpredictable episode of the Nick DiLorenzo podcast, where we talk about stuff and more stuff.